Chapter 9. Woyin! Kageyama yelled, not caring that everyone else watching the match turned to stare at him as he sprinted down the stairs to the court, running to the side of the girl lying on the court with Sugawara close on his heels. She was on her side, her fingers loosely holding nothing, frozen in the position they had been before her racket flew from her hands. Her hands and legs were awkwardly splayed in every direction, and, from what he could see, Kageyama noticed scrapes along both sides of her body from the tumble and roll. Exchanging a glance with Sugawara, the two setters split, the shorter silvered hair of the two going to talk to the ref and the taller one bending down to the court. Slipping an arm each under Wyan's legs and chest, Kageyama gently lifted her into the air, years of volleyball making him easily strong enough to do so. Her eyes were somewhere between open and closed, causing the boy to frown with concern as he laid her down on one of the benches, digging around in the cross-note tennis kits for a first aid kit. Yumi ran over frantically, trying to check if Wyan was okay. Kageyama noticed that the blonde Kageyama player hadn't done anything to check on her doubles partner. "Hey. Here." The third-year girl nudged Kageyama. "They're bringing on a reserve, so I have to get back to playing in a couple of minutes, but let me start cleaning her up." He gave her a confused glance. "You're good at first aid?" Rolling her eyes, the girl explained, "My brother is Nishinoya Yu, and he's the most reckless Libero I've ever met," and left it at that. As Yumi dabbed along the scrapes, Wyan's eyes fluttered fully open, wincing in pain as the disinfectant sunk into the blood-leaking wounds, leaving the antiseptic-soaked cotton pads covered in red. Surprising himself, Kageyama slipped his hand into Wyan's, kneeling so her horizontal head was now in line with his, letting her look at him in the eyes and squeeze his hand if the pain got to be too much. She cleared her throat, eyes filling with tears. "I tried, Tobio. I really tried." He also found himself nearing the point of tears at her heartbroken words. "I know, Wyan. I know, and that, whatever it wasn't your fault." The balls began hitting again, some reservee obviously playing in the Kageyama champion's place. Kageyama dug around the first aid kit, pulling out a couple of boxes of plaster and band-aids. "Are you patching me up?" Wyan teased weakly as he gently pulled her into a sitting position, leaning her back against the wall in front of the spectator stands. "Okay then, mother." He snorted, pressing a large square of plaster to one of the more serious scrapes and wrapping gauze around her leg to keep it in place, pressing a new band-aid to her elbow and some other, smaller wounds on her arms. Finally, all that was left were her hands and her face. "Hold still," Kageyama whispered, cupping her cheek with one hand ever so slightly, pressing a band-aid onto it with the other. Another tiny bandage on her temple, and Wyan was almost done. "Thank you." "Thank you." She squeezed his hand, though she winced as the ripped skin of her palm rubbed against his. "I'm gonna do everything I can for you," he promised, with a genuine seriousness to his voice as he hooked an arm around her waist, helping her to stand up so she could wash her hands to bandage them. "I mean it." He still hadn't told her the way he felt, the way he had ever felt since he first heard her call Love 15 at that fateful match at Krosno, the way he felt when she helped him more than anyone else had ever bothered to, the way he felt when she had just broken down in front of him, left behind by anybody she chanced to care about. They walked down a corridor together, Kageyama's hands still remaining at Wyan's waist, the cheers and sound of the tennis games slowly fading to a silence by the time they reached a bubbler, Hwaein rinsed her hands off, presenting them back to Kageyama, who dabbed them dry with a disinfectant wipe and wrapped plaster and gauze around them. "There, you okay?" He finished, dropping her hands and zipping the first aid kit back up. "No." The word was tiny, but still impactful, enough that he literally dropped what was in his hands and turned back to her. "I tried working with them, to do what you said about working in a team." Honest tears were running down her cheeks, her eye-colored eyes puffy and red. "I tried so hard to do my best for everyone who expects me to. They just won't accept me. They just won't accept me." Hwaein's last sentence dragged off into a wail as she collapsed in Kageyama's arms, her head perfectly positioned on the 9 of his volleyball shirt that she cried into. His hands immediately came straight up to rub her back, letting her sob all that she needed to. "One day," he soothed quietly as her crying quieted, "one day you're going to find a team who won't leave you behind, and whatever you do with that team, you'll be better than I ever could be." She looked up, surprised at such words from a defending champion, but all he did was settle on a hesitant smile, cupping her cheek and brushing away her tears. She still hadn't told him the way she felt, the way she had felt ever since he first invited her when she was left behind, the way she felt when he cornered her against a wall, so close she knew he could hear her heartbeat, the way she felt when he had raised her up, letting her know he would never leave her behind. But she would tell him now, and just before she ran back out to the tennis courts to swap back in to play, Hwaein gave Kageyama's shirt a tug, pulling him down. "You can be on my team." She reached up to connect their lips. His hands instantly came to cup her face and neck, increasing the feeling of the kiss as she wrapped her arms around his shoulders, entirely lost in the moment. They separated a little short of breath, with hesitant smiles on their faces and a new feeling blossoming in their hearts. "I guess one way or another, you'll hear me say love again." So I'm not gonna really go on a rant here, but the reason I've been gone is because I've actually been talking to someone who's texting me right now, and I kind of have like this big ass crush on him. So yeah, I actually haven't felt this way for 4 years. So please wish me luck, you guys. Like, honestly, I really like him. Anyways, yeah, that's why I've been gone. Sorry, you guys. That's why I've been gone recently. Like I said, I'm not gonna go on a rant, but yeah, I'm gonna try to keep posting. Like I'm not gonna stop. Okay, if I can post, I'm gonna post. So please don't think badly of me. That's just other things are going on in my life right now. So yeah, have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, whenever you are, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with, I think, chapter 9, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, oh no, chapter 10, sorry, this is chapter 9. And then we got the epilogue, and that's the end, and then I'm gonna post, like, the full thing. I think it's gonna be, like, an hour long, maybe. Anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, or whenever I get back to you. Bye, everyone, and I love you so much. Bye. Mwah.